80's dinosaurs from space.
I'm Alec, this is my brother Lucas, and welcome to Alien Month in Hester Brothers Cartoon Theater. Today we are watching the show Dinosaucers. This is part of the Weird Cartoon series. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to this. This is going to be our first episode in what will hopefully be mini videos about some really just absurd cartoon concepts. Since this is the first episode, we still have a lot more on the list, obviously, so if anybody has any very fun ideas about crazy cartoon concepts that you know, please do share it in the comments. And like and subscribe to hang around for us as well.
And the crazier your suggestions, the better. I want to get freaky with this show.
I have made the effort to write down every suggestion that's been made to us in the show in general. So if you guys have an idea, legit, just drop it. We do not mind. I can have a spreadsheet full of 400 ideas. I just want to hear what people like to see. And if you're somebody that comments a lot, we want to also thank you for doing that by covering some of your content in the future. Dinosaucers! Dinosaucers! All right, you know the theme song, that's pretty sad. This is an 80s American-Canadian... Really? But clearly didn't read my own notes. This is an 80s American-Canadian animated series. And as a syndicated show, it made appearances on multiple networks in multiple countries, but it only lasted one season because of low viewership and poor reception. Or at least that's what the uncited Wikipedia article said.
That's impossible. I saw 64 episodes on the link that I have.
That, my friend, is because one season contained 65 episodes of Dinosaucers, and they made every single one. I know what you're thinking, that's pretty crazy, but for the 80s, this was fairly normal. 80 shows would just purchase a ton of episodes, and then they would air them all. It was formulaic, so they really would just throw on whatever episodes they wanted to. The creator himself called this show, and I quote, a harebrained idea. So he acknowledged it as being absolutely absurd. We've been talking about making this our first episode of Weird Cartoons for a while, and for some ungodly reason, you have watched at least 20 of these at this point. Am I wrong?
Correct. No, I've watched around 20, yeah, probably.
Cool, so why?
This show is a fascinating addiction.
It's nice to see you so eager.
The amount of little children that have fantasized about science fiction alien dinosaurs is insurmountable. So I saw this, I'm like, yes, I fantasized about it. I saw around the time period that it came out, and I saw the animation, I'm like, so they tried to do like He-Man or Captain Planet with dinosaurs. I fell in love, and I think that I fell hard. It definitely fits in the category of so bad, it's really good. The voice acting is so horrendous.
It'll certainly work on these dumb beasts, since it would work on you, or even a dinosaur.
This show just decided kids like all these things, so let's just put them all together, plop it out, and see what happens. It did not do that well, so I guess it was not a massive success. I'm glad it works for you, but we start on this episode, the first episode of the series, and immediately I see a dinosaur robot, which is not really explained, followed by dinosaur aliens.
It's not a transformer, everyone. Not a transformer.
Is that their spaceship?
Here. Yeah.
Okay, so they come in a spaceship that is a big robot dinosaur, and they are dinosaur aliens within the dinosaur robot. You mentioned the voice acting being crazy. That was literally my first note.
Oh, yeah.
I just, could not believe how hard they were going.
So
okay, you're saying it's bad, but I think it's so good because it's hilariously extra, and they're so committed.
So bad it's good.
Okay, all right. I guess that checks out.
There is no argument for this being a good show. That does not exist.
Dinosaurs are leaving, Bossasaur!
So bad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
There is an argument that the worst thing that a show could be is boring, and this is not boring. It kept my attention the entire time. In my opinion, if something is entertaining, it's kind of good. So that's what I would say to you. Regardless of quality, what jumped out at you in this episode?
First of all, I know about dinosaurs, okay? I loved dinosaurs. I knew every species of every single one of these dinosaurs the minute I saw them on camera, right? So the baryonyx, which would be the dinosaur that everyone made fun of for being a duck.
That strange ore is stopping the engines in our small craft from working, duckface.
I heard like 7 duck puns in this single episode just because he has a duck-billed like face.
You think it's real funny? Huh, quackpot?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They go so hard with it, like...
They go so hard with these horrific puns that do make me laugh. But not because they're funny, because they're so awkward and, like, the timing is so bad. I'm just
they
like...
are funny.
Oh,
they're funny in the way that a dad joke is funny.
And those are notoriously not funny.
Really?
The very first thing that they say to him is like, "Quiet, duck face," and he's like,
That's Duck Bill! I have a duck bill!
and his voice acting is just so ridiculous, man. There's no reason to have him. This guy, he was worth every penny they paid him, and I'm sure it was only 5 of those. He made my day. And there was one line that he had that was actually hilarious, where there's all these like villain dinosaurs find this lost world kind of like all of these, you know, old dinosaurs. Also, there's no plot that is given. There's no background. This just is. There just are these alien dinosaurs. These kids happen to know about them. No explanation, no need. Don't worry about it. So they go to find these things. Evil dinosaurs like, "I'm gonna take all of these ancient reptiles and enslave them to start war with the humans," because that's the plot line. That's them hammering that part in. Baryonyx is literally just like,
After that, they'll be the front line in our war against the humans and the Dinosaucers. This guy's a nut.
he actually turns to all the other dinosaurs like, this guy's a nut. And this is such a like run-of-the-mill 80s show that moment just like took me out. It was like, no, that's not something that would have been said in He-Man. That was so different, and that's it. That got me. That moment and his voice acting, that character's essence. Yes.
I literally wrote Duck-Faced Dinosaur. The fact that you know it's a baryonyx is the most Lucas thing I've ever heard. This kid loved dinosaurs so much growing up. It does not surprise me that you found this show and still like it as an adult. You talk about Duck-Face or whatever.
That's Duck Bill!
Who, by the way, literally gives us a jump scare in this episode that literally startled me. I was
Now,
more
that
blown
doesn't
away.
surprise me that would happen to you as an adult. I don't even remember when that happened.
But I was more blown away by the character that is literally named Genghis Rex. And I wrote down, his name is Genghis Rex? That was when I first wrote the note about the voice acting being so extra.
Dinosaurs, the old kind.
All the dinosaurs on this planet died. So... his voice is just immediately so aggressive, and it keeps going, and it never stops, and it's always that aggressive, and it just made me laugh so hard from the moment that I heard it. And you're right, the voice acting is easily the best part of the entire show. The villains are like this on purpose, right? Because these are the tyrannos, these are the villains, and at first you can't really tell if they're supposed to be the protagonists in a weird way, but you clearly learn when they are trying to turn regular dinosaurs on this planet into slaves that they are not the good guys.
Was that your first hint?
Well, the voice acting was my first hint, but then
That
I
was
thought
my
that maybe
first
this is
hint.
just how they were. But then you've got the Dinosaurs, which are the good characters, and they're much more straight-laced, like,
Demetro, Ronald Bender, prepare the Dino Crab for lunch.
the
Today,
standard.
we are saving the day, children.
These characters are not nearly as interesting. I was rooting for the villains, almost.
Alec
Not
endorses
the guy-
slavery, everybody.
Okay, no, that's not what I mean. No.
All the dinosaurs on this planet die.
They could be the protagonists, right? They are clearly the better characters. You see their perspective more than the heroes. You know what? Let's just forget about it. I'll come back to the heroes.
On the note of the names that you did say, Bronto Thunder is also a name. Bronto Thunder. You just take a dinosaur name and you take a name of other thing. That's it. That's the name.
Can we actually talk about Bronto Thunder? You could totally replace lines spoken by the character Eeyore from the Winnie the Pooh series and just plug them into almost anything that this guy said. He was such a woe is me character, like my friends keep picking on me.
If the Earth dinosaurs had friends like mine, no wonder they're almost extinct.
Yeah, he looks straight at the camera into the fourth wall and says that canned line. It's so good. My other favorite part, the Allosaurus Dinosaucer named Allo. He says, I'm gonna dino ball myself back to my ancestral Allosaurus shape.
To dynavolve myself. Stay close, all.
And suddenly he turns into like a literal Allosaurus that is no longer a humanoid. They're on this planet where regular dinosaurs still exist.
They're on Earth, technically. And they found these weird dinosaurs.
Of course they are.
This is South America. They made that, I'm not going to say clear in the beginning, but they mentioned it. From what I understand, from my my obvious expertise on the Dinosaucers, these dinosaurs are like futuristic alien dinosaur remnants of the original dinosaurs. And that those kinds of dinosaurs that don't have alien technology are like the old origin of their evolution. Somehow they died off on Earth, but on other planets they survived and became intelligent.
One more WTF moment that I wrote down was that these kids have power bands, and the girl was just able to press a button and escape danger with no explanation at all. Do you know more about this?
No, I don't. In all the 20 episodes I've seen, there has been nothing that's talked about that at all.
Secret Scouts ring, power up!
These kids like go to high school, but they're like the Captain Planet teens and they just have technology powers, I guess. We don't know why they're even connected with the Dinosaucers.
Yes.
Oh man, you think this show's got backstory? No. I have a couple puns that I would like to point out. Quiet, you idiot tops. Quackpot was said twice about the duck dinosaur. Quit hanging around when he was hanging from the vine, obviously. The other things I wanted to mention, A, they're going to war against the humans, and he creates this convoluted plan to brainwash old dinosaurs. I'm like, dude, you came here in a spaceship with brainwashing technology? And your idea to win a war against humans in the 80s is to enslave
Dinosaurs?
Dude, there are a million better plans that you could have come up from what you have in your literal spaceship right now that could have done that today. What? And then the theme song, Dinosaurs, is so wonderfully 80s. And when I heard that, I was hyped.
Well, the more 80s it gets, the more fun it is when you watch a show like this, because you want plot holes, right? You want crazy voice acting. You want basically everything that this show gives you. There was a part where a Tyranno named Genghis Rex is watching two full-size dinosaurs fighting with control collars around their neck, only one of which is working, before other dinosaur aliens and two children swing to save the day, leading to a brief 80s music blip. And resolving the entire plot of the whole episode in 30 seconds. It was that. It was 30 seconds. This is the show.
The one redeeming part that did make sense is we did have a character arc in this episode. Did you notice the character arc?
Was it like a literal arc? Is that where we're going?
Okay, in that case, we had two character arcs that were the same character. This is too big brain for what this show was. There was the arc of Bronto Thunder swinging on the vine. And then there was the character arc of him learning how to swing on the vine by the end of the episode.
I did it! I did it!
You know, if there were two of them, it could have been Noah's character arc.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Dude, let's get into some weird facts, because this show does have a history behind it. Did you know this series originally had a toy line planned? The potential manufacturer was a company called Galoob, because of course it was, but the molds were sold to a company, Glasslight, in Brazil, after the show basically bombed. In Brazil, maybe the show did a little bit better. Again, some of these are unsighted Wikipedia things. I'm not too worried about fact-checking on this specific show. I'll care more about it in our other videos.
But for the future, we do not use Wikipedia. This is not a high school English paper.
Dude, this show can be a high school English paper. Who cares?
This episode can, but not our whole show.
I do actually have the link to the pictures of these action figures, so I'm not making it up.
Do you have the place where I can purchase them?
I'm asking for a friend.
You certainly can't, because as a result of them being discontinued, they only made it to Brazil from this company Glasslight. They made some, and they did sell some, and there are other prototypes in existence.
I'm gonna find them on eBay.
You think? I don't know, man, because
I'll bet they're expensive.
I don't even know how many were made.
Edition. I will buy it and put it on here, and it'll be a reference for the rest of our show.
Did you know that despite the show's 65-episode run, Dinosaucers got another lease on life? It was revived. In 2018, the creator revived Dinosaucers as a comic book. The 5-part miniseries was meant to have a story arc, and it ended on a cliffhanger when the comic book was discontinued in January 2019. I feel so bad for this creator. He clearly cared enough about his content to put it back out there, and they actually look pretty cool with really good art. Missed opportunity, you know?
I mean, they didn't miss the opportunity. They had it. It didn't work out.
If this show ever blows up and, you know, people go back and watch this episode, one day I would love to start a campaign to let this guy make the last 5 comics in his series.
I will start the GoFundMe.
Let's plug another thing, Lucas. We are trying to mention a charity at the end of every episode. This one, we actually decided to play with the 80s theme and go with the Captain Planet Foundation. This was a literal charity that was made because of the cartoon show that many of you know. Captain Planet Foundation helps get young people involved in environmental activism through education, teaching them so that they can educate other people.
We're sorry it wasn't a dinosaur revival charity. I couldn't find them. I tried. Send me them if you know if they exist, and I will give them all my money.
Next week, we may be late to the party, but we are celebrating our 100 subscriber milestone. Thank you for everybody who helped us get to this point. We are going to be celebrating it with a ranking episode and talking about our top 10 favorite animated places. Please like and subscribe and be part of our cartoon community, because this thing is literally starting to grow. And I'm so proud of you, Lucas.
Thanks,
Alec.
Alec.
I'm actually proud of you for.
I did create 120 of our 126 subscribers, so...
Yeah, definitely. It was all you.
I created the accounts.
Thank you for everybody who's been listening. Follow us on social media, and we'll see you soon. Bye!
I have one last thing to say.
Lucas, you keep saying that. What do you have left to say?
I went for a run this morning.
Oh? No.
And you know what?
What?
I'm not feeling too good.
Wait, what?
I'm Dinosaur. Because I Velociraptor my Achilles.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, no, that's that.
All the dinosaurs on this planet died!